Welcome to Bite-Sized Catechism. Join us and learn our Catholic faith, a nibble at a time.
This is brought to you by Young Catholics PH.
Good evening,
Hello, good evening, everyone.
evening, guys. So once again, my name is Joby Santa Ana, and I'm joined by Joby Pervido, and we're your hosts for Bite Size Catechism. So for today, our topic, getting straight into it, will be one sec. God created everything out of nothing. Interesting topic, Joby. So how do we start this off?
Yeah, so basically, let's talk about like what nothing means. No, it's very sometimes when you're talking to other people, they don't understand what nothing is, and nothing means nothing. There is just no material to begin with. No, um,
No space.
so that's what. Sorry, what? No space, no
Not
nothing, no gravity, no whatever, no, just nothing, no. So and that's a little bit. Some people like to say that maybe the earth, maybe what they call it, the universe came together because there was gravity here, there was whatever there. No, that's not nothing. That's a something. No, so but what they call this, we can say that there was nothing to begin with. Okay, so the way we try to understand this is what they call this um, we have to understand that matter can only be created by other matter. Okay, the raw material of matter is matter. Okay, for example, this book, no, the book I have, this one. Okay, um, it has what they call this. It has pages. It's made out of that's made out of pulp wood. No, came from wood. Okay, so the wood, where did that come from? The wood came from a tree. Okay, which is matter, also material, and then the tree came from a seed. Okay, and then where did the seed come from? It came from sucking up all the materials from the tree came from a seed which was sucking up all the minerals from the earth. No, and that's also matter. Okay, and then so where did the seed come from? Came from another tree, and so forth and so on. We can regress all the way backward, no, until we decide that where did the first matter come from? No, so everything that we have in this universe is material. No, and it's made out of matter. Now, if the raw material of matter is matter, then we have to ask, where did that first matter come from? No, and scientifically, I don't know if you remember, Joby, when we were in elementary. No, there were several um, scientific theories on how the universe was created. No, there is this. I don't know if you remember the steady state theory, that matter had always existed from all of eternity. No, and of course the scientists are saying no, that's not possible. In fact, we can look at, like, for example, carbon dating. No, there really is a decay. No, so things must have started somewhere. No, we see the universe hurtling away from each from the pieces of the universe are hurtling away from each other. No, so there must be a center point. No, and so the most popular theory is the Big Bang theory. That at some point there was nothing, and all of a sudden matter, just came into being. Okay, so the question is, where did that original matter come from? And so we're saying it must have come from a being that had been in existence for all of eternity. No? And so, and since we were talking about, that's the reason why we were talking about the past few weeks, that that person we think, no, we believe who created this matter is God, because He's the only one who can do such a thing. No, uh, if matter cannot just, with scientifically, the only way that matter can uh, can be in front of us is, one, if we moved something in front of us, or if it just popped out of existence, popped out from nothing. No, and so we don't have any experience of matter just just popping out of nowhere. No, and so that is not a scientific explanation. So that we have to discard that. No, that matter just popped out of nowhere. So if somebody's going to tell us, no, oh, you know what, maybe just matter just decided to pop out of nowhere, no, when during the creation of the universe. Sorry, that's not scientific, because we've never, the way that we what do you call this, the way that we define a scientific theory is that you can prove it, that you can, there is some basis towards it, no. So um, um, matter just coming out of nowhere, especially the universe just popping out of nowhere, that's science fiction. No, we don't know where, we don't even know how to categorize that. No, it's magic. No, okay, so that did not happen. So we're saying now that a being must have created that matter out of nothing. Okay, so that's the first what they call this topic that we have to that we're thinking of today. No,
On to the next one, ba?
we could do that, no. So maybe siguro one of the things, let's talk about it a little bit, Joby, no, na um you know um sometimes we're talking about God, no, and then I have some friends who are saying, no, but how can we prove God? No, I mean, we want I want to know Him. I want to make sure that He's here, but there is no evidence of God. I cannot prove that He's here, no. And I always tell them, no, and I tell them that we have to think about it, that the universe is a creation of God, who existed before the universe and who is not part of the universe. Therefore, how can we look for items in the universe to prove his existence? It doesn't make sense, no? Because he's outside of it, no?
I
Um,
Jobs, was it C.S. Lewis? I'm not sure if it was C.S. Lewis, but someone put forward the analogy of, you won't find an architect in the house he made in the same way you won't find
yes,
God in creation, because
yeah.
creator is separate from creation, right?
That's right. However, I like that architect analogy. However, we can find traces of the architect in his or her work. No, parang when we look at when we go inside the room, no, and you don't know the interior designer, no. The interior designer likes straight lines, or the interior designer likes muted colors. No, you can tell. You can tell what do you call this? What the interior designer is like from the work that the interior designer did. No, so in the case of the universe, no, it's an ordered universe. No, the whole point, all of our sciences are grounded on the fact that there is some order into it. Because if everything is just random, then we cannot make scientific theories or scientific what do you call this, formulas. No, physics, for example, it will be non-existent, because how can we make what do you call this what do you call it? Equations of a line, equations of energy, equations of whatever, if it were not ordered, if it were not intelligible, no? Okay, one of the things that we say is, when we're looking at this universe, it's an ordered universe, no? We see we see stratifications of creation. We see what they call this, even outside the earth. No, we see the planets going around each other, solar systems moving around what they call is a galaxy. No,
A
and
lot of
so there is some sort of order to it. No, and it cannot be random when you think about it. No, so that's how we look at that. So um, uh, it will it will be impossible for us to be able to prove God's existence with the things that we have in the universe for a God who does not belong to the universe. It's just difficult, no?
And also, Joby, to add, the rationality of the universe also points to it being created by a rational mind. And actually, yes, that's what Christianity affirms. But just to make out, just for the sake of our viewers, no, you don't even need to be Christian. You don't even need the Bible to arrive at that conclusion,
Yeah.
because in the ancient
Yes.
Greeks, Plato, Aristotle, etc., the ancient Greek
Yeah.
philosophical tradition arrived at that independent from Scripture. They
Yeah.
actually call the divine principle that animates the universe, they call this the logos, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
term was actually
Interesting.
incorporated
Yeah.
by Christianity, correct? So
Yeah.
whether you look to the Christian tradition or even the ancient pagan tradition, the ancient Greek philosophers, both affirm that the universe is rational and orderly, and that reflects a rational that reflects a rational first principle, or a rational reason for the universe's existence, and why it is
Assistance.
what it is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's really interesting that you brought up the logos thing. It's because these were ancient philosophers. No, they were trying to figure out. No, we cannot prove God. We cannot prove God through empirical data. So they're trying to prove God in some sort of philosophical way. No, and you were talking about the logos. No, now it's um, a lot of the Greeks, no, and the Romans, so they would convert to Christianity um, because our Lord Jesus Christ is the logos, no, he's the Word of God, word in Greek, no, logos, no. So it's really amazing that it coincides, no, and so that's why they were thinking,
Oh
oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah, logos, yeah,
absolutely. And it's not only, I mean, you can even go further. So as I talked about in our last meeting, through reason alone, given the fact that God is being itself, right? Ipsum is a subsistence, as Aquinas put it. That's the
yeah,
sheer act of the be itself in English.
being,
We
yeah,
can reason that God must have certain attributes. These are the divine attributes. So omnipotence,
yes,
omniscience, oneness,
yes,
divisibility, what else?
yeah,
Simplicity. So philosophers can actually deduce that God must have certain attributes, and they could give pages and pages of argumentation why God must have these certain attributes. And
yeah,
there was this one philosopher, I forgot his name, but he's an English philosopher, and he commented, um, the God of reason that Aristotle had in mind must be the same. Parang we are justified in saying that the God that Aristotle had in mind is the same God that that Jews, Muslims, and Christians believe, because the attributes are the same. It's crazy,
same, yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's like
yeah.
a match. There's a match
Yeah,
between what secular philosophers reasoned 2,000 years ago and what the Bible has always affirmed, right? So
yeah,
there's that connection,
yeah,
and it natural classical theistic philosophers today affirm that, right? So you have the God of reason, what we can know through God through reason alone. Then you have the God of revelation, and they fit. And that's
yeah,
one of the striking that's one striking reason to believe in Christianity, because Christianity's conception of God is the same. It's a bit
yeah,
beyond, of course, because we have like
yeah.
additional theology. We have the Trinity and everything, but when you go to the base, what God is, it's actually the same, right? So
And the funny thing pa is when we're talking about this, Joby, is that um, we one of the things that we say in Christianity is that God, although He is not part of the universe, He gave us the intellect to find Him,
yes,
and therefore even these philosophers who were non-Christian or non-Jews, no, or non-Muslims, no, they they in their mind they realize, oh, there must be a God who is reasonable, who is like this, no? And then they did find him in a sort of way, but then God eventually will reveal himself, and oh yeah, you're right, it's the same God nga pala, no, like that. So that's pretty interesting, no?
Yeah, I mean, just
Now,
to for a quick comment, you could take Anthony Flew. So he was one of the world's most prominent atheist philosophers in the 20th century,
yeah,
especially around the 1960s. And he didn't convert to Christianity at the end of his life, but he converted to the God of Aristotle. So as I said, a God that is omniscient, omnipotent, one, etc. Right? The divine attributes that we can know through reason
yes,
alone. And
yeah,
after converting and becoming a deist in the in the same tradition as Aristotle, right? He only considered he considered I guess the monotheistic religions, but out of he narrowed his search down to Christianity, and he was investigating Christianity up until the end of his life. And one reason why he narrowed it down to Christianity is because Christianity's conception of God again fit what reason
yeah,
tells about God, right? So
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
amazing. So the God of
yeah,
Aristotle, it's so strikingly similar
yeah,
actually it is the same. It is the same conception of God that Christians have. Christians just go a bit further with the Trinity and all that, but when you
yeah.
look at the attribute, it's God. It's the same.
He has the beginnings of it, no? Yeah.
Yes.
So the next thing that we want to talk about, it's a natural progression, no? This next thing,
Maybe we
let
have
me
two
see.
topics today, guys.
Where are we now? There. Yeah. Okay. There. God keeps us in existence. What does that mean? God keeps us in existence. It means that if God, it means that if God does not will us to exist, then we return back to nothing. No. And I have to explain this a little bit. And we need an analogy for this. No. So let's say, for example, I am a carpenter. I make a chair. Okay. My chair is made out of wood. Okay. I put the maybe the feet are made out of steel, no iron, and then I put a wooden seat, and then I put a wooden backrest. Okay. So I use nails. I use more iron for putting it together. Maybe screws. No. And then maybe I put fabric, no, on top of the wooden seat, no, so that it's soft. Okay. So you can call me the creator of the chair, no? Um, and at some point, I will be done with the chair, and I'm going to leave the chair alone. Now, the chair will continue to exist even without me um, touching it or holding it, no, because of the material that the chair is made of. Okay, so because it has steel, iron, because it has what they call this wood, because it has fabric, no, the chair continues to exist. Okay, so we can make now a conclusion that um, um, when a creator creates something, the something continues to exist through the material that it was made of. Okay? Now, let's go now to the universe. The universe was made by God, who is the creator, but he made it out of nothing. So now we're trying to understand that how is it possible that the universe will continue to exist if the material that it is made of, which is nothing, will make it exist? It can possibly exist because the material that makes it is nothing. No? So the only conclusion that we can get from this is God must be willing the universe to continue to exist, or else it's going to return back to nothing. So, what does that imply, Joby? It implies that every breath we take, every moment we look outside, every second that passes by, God is willing us to exist. Otherwise, we go back to nothing. No, I like the word. No, nihil is the word we use for nothing. No, that's why we say God created the word ex nihilo. No, from nothing. No, and so we also have this word annihilate. No, from nihil. No, which means going back to nothing. So if God uh, created ex nihilo, no, created the universe ex nihilo, no, and he stops. He says, you know what? I'm tired of these people. I will just uh, decide I don't want them to exist anymore. It isn't like the Marvel universe where Thanos will snap his finger and then everybody has this, like, they're fading away in ash, no, like that. No, it's not going to be that way. No, we just return back to nothing. We are annihilated. No? So I think if there is anything that we should do from knowing this, is we need to thank God every moment, every day. Lord, thank you. Thank you for this existence, no, that you're allowing me to exist, allowing me to enjoy all of these things, that this universe that I should not be enjoying, because first of all, I did not need to exist. Second is, why are you even willing this to exist so that I can derive pleasure from it? No, so yeah, the generosity of God, no, when we look at creation, is just amazing.
Joby, I also think it would be good for our viewers because when you think about God, we usually think, okay, because our topic once again is God keeps us in existence, right? So usually, or when we rather, let me say it this way, when we think of God as creator, we often think of something being created as a chain of events reaching back into the past. So I was born because my parents and my parents have their parents, and if you go back to the very beginning, um, there was God brought everything into existence into the past, right? So a chain of causality into the past, right? Backwards into the past. That's how we normally think of God as creator. And that's true. We believe that God created the universe, right? At a certain point in time in the past, he brought the universe into existence. So that's true. God did create everything at some point in time in the past.
Yes.
But when it comes to our topic, God keeps us in existence at every moment. It's also important to know that as Christians, we also believe that God sustains us in existence every
Yes.
single second, including right now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when we talk about this, we're actually talking about causality. There are actually Latin terms for this. There are
Yeah.
actually terms for sequence like this, like going back
Yeah.
into the past, and sequence
Yeah.
going down. I don't have the terms right now, so I can't really give you the Latin term. But basically, when we speak of God as that which sustains reality and existence, we're actually talking about um, a line of causality in the present, right? Going down to lower levels of reality. So we could think of it this way. So let's think about Santa Claus. Santa Claus is a contingent being, meaning that he derives his existence from something else, from something outside of himself. So if you're Santa Claus, you're obviously a living being. So that means you're made of cells, right? And cells are made up of atoms and those or we're made out of molecules, and you have some molecules, so you're going down, right? Lower levels of reality. But there will come a point in time where those lower levels of reality need lower levels of reality, right? And there will come a point in time where the lowest level of reality will have to be sustained by God. So that's basically, in layman's terms, what we mean by God keeping us in existence every moment. Everything is contingent. So, what's another example? But basically, yes. We are made up of matter, of molecules, of atoms, and there are lower
Yeah.
levels of reality. And at the very bottom, God is sustaining everything in existence through His will, right? So that's basically what we
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick up on what you said, no, that God created the universe some time ago, no, but He's continuing to keep us in existence now, no. So some people might think that creation was a one-time thing, no. He created the universe and then he got tired and he said, okay, you know what, I'm tired. I spent 7 days working on this universe. And I'm going to go to sleep now, no, and I'll just take a look at it from time to time. No, let's see. how it's doing, no? And we're going to be wrong when we say that, because the fact that he is keeping the universe in existence every single moment means to say he is aware of it. It means to say that even today is part of creation, no? All of the things that are coming, the plants that the grass that's growing right now, no, that we don't even see, no, that's part of creation. And so creation is still ongoing, no, it's still it's a process, no, until the end of time, I imagine. So yeah, let's not think of God. The popular way of thinking of God is he's a watchmaker. No, he made the watch. Like the universe is a watch that's ticking. No, okay, perfect na. No, all the things are moving in this orderly manner. Okay, I'm done with this clock, and I'm going to move on to another project somewhere. No, but no, that's not the way it is. No, he knows. He is part of it right now. No, everything that's going about. No, the gray hairs in my hair that are growing. No, he knows what's happening. He's okay. There's another gray hair, Jovi. So there. No, it's yeah, we have to think of God as being participating, no, in today, no, and so we shouldn't think of creation as a one-time thing. No, it did happen in the past. There was this big bang, yeah, but until today, no, creation is still ongoing. No, we should think of it that way.
Jobs, we have to go to Q&A soon, but just a last
Okay.
bit. That's why I love
Sure.
how Father Byron defines God. He defines God as the uncontingent ground of contingent reality. So again, everything in the whole world is contingent. It's dependent on something else. So
Yeah.
I'm the result of my parents, right? And at this very moment, I'm composed of muscles and cells and the
Yeah.
deeper results of reality. But so I'm contingent, right? And everything in the universe is contingent. It's contingent reality. But God is that ground which keeps all of contingent reality into existence. He sustains
Yeah.
it, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, if you do have questions, feel free to send them in the chat and we'll get to you. And if you happen to
Yes.
be watching this after the live stream, feel free to send your comments too and we'll get to them.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, our topics start to begin to become more interesting because we've laid the groundwork. What God is, His perfections, whatever, and now we can talk about more interesting things, no? So yeah, so and
All right,
we're
guys.
hoping that our viewers can ask questions, anything that, or maybe you have an aha moment, like, oh my gosh, I just realized this now, no? So share it with us so that we'll know what's important, no, to people who are listening, watching, no? Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, if the audience doesn't have any questions, we can look over as to what's our next topic, right, for next week.
Sure. Go.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me flash the screen quickly. All right. So those are the usual books we recommend. So yeah, for our next topic, it's going to be God made us to share in His divine life. And beyond that, we have God created us out of sheer goodness and God created the angels. So yeah, we're moving into creation na. But yeah, that's it for next meeting. Joby, do you have any parting words for the audience? It's almost time.
No, yeah, hope you can join us again. I'm excited for the angels part because angels are one of the things that, it gets exciting, when we see the fall of the angels and we talk about this, and because not very much is told to us, no, so that will be really exciting. I hope you parting words. Just I hope you can join us again next week, so that we continue what we're talking about.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, young Catholics. That's it for this week. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Have a restful Wednesday.
Good night and bye-bye.
We're super happy you could join us. We hope to see you again next episode with your mugs, snacks, and questions.
Good night.